I honestly, like, an hour ago, I, like, saw the time on my oven, and I was like, "Shit, D&D's already?" And then I sat
Oh
back down at my
no!
desk, and I'm like, "Wait, I have another hour?" I'm so confused.
Time travel! Absolutely.
Ovens are the biggest first world problem.
That's true. Anyways. Welcome.
Just because of the space they take up. They're large.
They are kind of large, but that's good, because then they fit a lot of food.
Yeah.
I kind of would prefer a large oven to a small oven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which would win?
I have a
One
large oven and a
or
small
100
oven.
small ovens.
It's like toaster ovens.
Okay, I do think the 100 small ovens would kind of kick ass, though.
100 core oven.
Welcome to Destination Divergence. It's episode, I don't know, 112? 102? Yes, it is an episode. Last time, you guys placed your world anchor in the heart of chaos. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's see, you started at the monastery that was floating around the edge of the plane of chaos, and put Clemens back in the portable library that you've been carrying around, just so that she was a little safer. The rest of you can fly and stuff, and it was easier this way. And Clemens was in there for an indeterminate amount of time. You all tried to project your willpower over the chaos around you, trying to shape it into something that could help you. And eventually you came up with using your willpowers combined, of course, came up with a massive, you shaped a nearby rock into a massive, like, mechanical bird-like structure, whose body was still a lumpy rock, but who had, like, construct-like wings and a beak and all of that. And it began flying through space with you, although it may flap its wings and attempt to fly like a bird does, but it still just kind of jitters around in awkward, random directions because it's still in the plane of chaos. It was a little hard for you to keep up with, a little hard for you to ride on its back. Multiple things threatened it along the way, including like a wall of lightning that arced along the outside of it. You all had to pull off some evasive maneuvers there. Actually, I think somebody cast a spell to prevent that, right? One of you? A dome of some kind?
Eric did a wall of force.
Yes. Wall of force to keep the lightning at bay for a little bit. Multiple other things. The surface of it got extremely hot, and that was pretty tough to deal with for a little bit. And eventually a giant mimic just bit your bird. It just completely annihilated it, but the rest of you managed to get out of the way as this mountain-sized mimic feasted on your unfortunate creation instead of all of yourselves. And so you continued. And eventually, piling deeper and deeper into the heart of chaos, there was soon no more islands around you, no more empty space, but you found yourselves in, I believe at first, a jungle. It didn't stay a jungle for long. In fact, you found out that in the place you had landed, the terrain around you began to rapidly change, more and more rapidly as you approached the center, as you followed your compass towards its destination. The jungle suddenly became a tundra, the tundra suddenly became a desert, and so on and so forth. Eventually you were on tops of mountains, beneath the oceans, up in the sky amongst clouds, and all sorts of other strange and varied locations, but all the same, there was always something underneath your feet wherever you went. Faye turned into a camel, since you were in the desert at one point, and found that as the world around her changed, so did her form. The camel form turned into a dolphin as the lands turned into ocean, or into a bird as she soared through the sky, and so on and so forth. And so you kept journeying. This is when you let Clemens out, because your feet were all on the ground. And it turns out Clemens had been in the library for about a week, and was all out of rations and rum, and it was very sad. But thankfully, you guys were able to feed Clemens soon after. Because Clemens had been without food for about a day and a half or so.
How hurt.
Unfortunate.
You didn't mention the rum was gone.
The rum is unfortunately gone, yes. It was a long, lonely week, unfortunately, for Clemens. But, I mean, you're in a library, there was books to read. They may or may not challenge the bounds of your sanity, being books of the Draconic Prophecy, but, they're there, and stuff. But anyways, at this point, Clemens was let out back onto the plane of chaos, where things are a lot more exciting, for better or for worse. And you all journeyed towards the heart of chaos, deeper and deeper through the sea of chaos. Things got more and more intense. The changes that happened every minute or so, several minutes at times, began changing between seconds, and eventually multiple times per second. And as you approached your final destination, it was tens of times per second that the world around you was completely changing into something entirely different. Extremely hard to keep up with, and just the sheer chaos around you made everything difficult terrain, made it incredibly hard for you to see or think or feel what's around you. And then one thing stuck out amongst the chaos. Three things, really. 2 eyes and a mouth. These glowing, swirling, pale openings in space that seem to just move through it, the one constant amongst the change. And it came in to attack you. So we rolled for initiative, you guys fought it for a while. It swallowed some of you, but you got out using some clever spells and stuff. It was a bit hairy at times, but finally you realized, hey, this compass is pointing down this thing's throat, whatever it is. And so, I believe it was Carrick who eventually finished it off. Is that correct?
Sounds right.
Or was it Milos? One of
It
you.
was not Milo.
I believe it was Carrick. Yeah, it was
I
Carrick.
believe I flew down its throat and tried to. Oh, I had
Yeah.
freedom of movement, so I was able to move around in there.
Yes, that's right. The compass was passed off between a few of you at different times since you weren't quite sure what the plan was, but eventually Carrick, with freedom of movement applied, was able to dash down this thing's throat, fight against the massive amount of force damage that was being caused by just the sheer chaos of his environment, and managed to place the world anchor where it needed to go. And then suddenly, the world around you stopped. The chaos was gone, and you were standing in the middle of a vast, flat desert. That is where we pick up. The world anchor now floats above you in the air, slowly rotating. What are you all doing?
Well, that was exciting. Now how do we get back?
Do we need to rest before? Does they have plane shift?
Oh, I sure do not.
All right.
Wait, do we have a... Did we figure that out?
I have a possible way of getting us back. I can. Would you like to try and go back now?
I mean, absolutely. On to the next one.
Oh, so in that case, do we want to go straight to our next destination? Or do we want to try and go back to the prime material and take a breather, or?
What's
I
the next
got
plane like again?
The
Well, I
next,
don't know about the rest of you, but I feel perfectly fine. I've been resting quite a long time. I would rather not take much more time to rest, but you know, I've not been out here braving it with all of you, so
Most of the damage I took was in that fight just now, and yeah, he did a bit of a number on me. I'm okay, but I could use some rest before we really get into a new adventure here.
I just need a good night's rest. Otherwise, I'm in business.
Let's go home then. Let's take a day and let's try to go home. It's not gonna be easy. I have to attempt a very hard arcane ritual with these seals to try and get us home. So yeah, Jordan, I'm gonna try and attempt the completed seal planar mastery.
all right. That is a
Oh, it has to
DC.
target one of the planes on the seal.
It does have to target one of the planes on the seals, indeed.
I have all the seals, but none of them are the prime material. Okay, maybe I can't take us home, but I can take us literally anywhere else.
I will say, since the question was asked earlier as well, and it seems relevant given the current question, the next plane on your list is Irian, the Eternal Dawn, the plane of peace, healing, light, etc.
Well, that sounds nice.
It might be a good place to chill out, actually.
Can you get us there?
I can certainly try.
Please do.
Would you guys
Can
like
I-
a bit of an overview of what Nakarth has learned about Irian before you head there, or you guys want to send it?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes,
For
please.
sure.
Okay. So unfortunately, fortunately, I'll start with the good news. How about that? The good news is Nakarth has found that this place is exceptionally pleasant. Everything seems happy, full of sunshine, full of light here. Everybody that Nakarth stumbled across seemed to be happy, if a bit absent-minded and perhaps not all there. It's full of life and wildlife and plants and things, but every time Nakarth visited, he was in a completely different location, and it seems perhaps the structure of this place is very complex and potentially difficult to navigate, is the unfortunate portion there. Navigation struggles aside, it doesn't seem to be a dangerous place.
That's good news, certainly.
That sounds like an improvement over here.
For sure.
And if we don't have a way to get back to the prime material plane, that definitely sounds like our best option.
Yeah, maybe we can make a friend in the plane of peace and order that might want to take us home after. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
There's only one way to find out. And I guess, does anyone have anything that could possibly help me before I attempt this? It's pretty difficult. There's a fair chance I could fail.
Oh, Papa's got a little guidance for you. Mm.
Give me just 1 second.
Clements also has some guidance for you, but maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't be that helpful.
Guidance is a divination spell, right?
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
Sure. Wait, is it? Let me double check.
That would be a spellcasting modifier check, then.
I've
hit it.
got an enhanceability for you.
That would be wonderful.
What school is that?
Transmutation.
Hell yeah.
Transmutation is actually better here, so there you go.
I just hit you with some dog shit. That was it. That was the 10.
Yeah, that guidance unfortunately does not get through.
Let's go for it.
Okay, I got advantage. We got flashes, two potential flashes of genius.
We can only use one though, right?
Oh, true. Yeah, I
That is
don't
true.
think things of the same ability stack like that.
Clemens, would you like to attempt to cast guidance?
No, I just have a bow called guidance. That's all.
Oh, right. Okay.
Shoot character.
I cast guidance, shoots me with the bow.
Is it working?
Swear his Carrick as guidance's enemy.
I actually do not have anything that I can use to help.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I will go ahead and roll this with advantage then.
I could create a magnificent mansion that might give us a pocket dimension that you could cast from, but we also have a Pokeball that could probably do the same thing.
But if you do that within the Pokeball, then you would leave the Pokeball behind. Someone needs to be on the outside to activate it.
Right.
You said you have a mansion?
I could use my 7th level spell slot for the day to create a magnificent mansion that we could do our stuff from within.
I mean, to be fair, we are trying to rest as soon as we get there if we can.
Right. Right, if we think that would be helpful, I will summon the luxurious pirate ship. And I guess, is there a place I can put a door?
You are in a vast, flat desert.
I don't know that I need to. He just says, I choose where its entrance is located, and it's
Sure.
5 feet wide and 10 feet tall.
You can
For
put it in
some
the
reason,
air
I
if you
thought I
want.
had to like create it in a doorway. I'm just gonna create it in the air.
That would be a fun restriction to that spell, but no, I think you can just make it anywhere.
The atmosphere is specifically clean, fresh, and warm.
Perfect.
Welcome aboard.
This is beautiful, Clemens.
God damn.
Thank you. I made it myself, I think. I'm not entirely sure how that works.
Did you give it a name?
I didn't give it a name, no. I was too busy naming other ships. We'll have to do that. Anybody have suggestions? We can have a little contest. We can vote.
Ah,
Does it come with
your
rum?
pirate nature is always better than mine.
That is a very good question, whether or not it comes with rum.
Obviously, yeah.
It says it contains sufficient food to serve a 9-course banquet for up to 100 people.
Yes.
So-
Of course,
Be real.
Magnet better have rum.
And like an army of unseen servants.
I did not
just
factor
imagine-
this into the equation while Clemens was alone in the dark for a week, but Clemens probably could have done this a few times.
The pirate ship won't fit in here. I can't summon it.
That's good.
I just imagine Carrick says, "Oh, rum," and then just like a little unseen servant just like wanders up with a bottle of rum. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Absolutely.
I would say let's just stay here instead of going to the plane of peace, but there's no guarantee I can actually get it working tomorrow. So I guess our best bet would be to try it today, and then if it works, it works. If not, then we can try again tomorrow. And sleep here.
Absolutely.
Like,
All
good
right.
plan.
In that case, are you all ready, or did you want to stay here and try and name this ship?
Maybe we should rest for like, I don't know, an hour or so first.
Sure, we can do that.
The mansion lasts for 24 hours. I can have a bunch of servants at the door and just scream at us if anybody else comes. So we can all just crash.
I am going to drink some rum, have some ship food, and take a break.
Oh, big same.
I will follow their lead.
I'd like to think, just given the plane of chaos and how willpower affects it around you, that Clemens summoning this ship, it just kind of flies down out of the air and dips into the sand as if it were water, and it's just kind of floating along the sand and in the desert. Just
That
slow
would be
ripples in the
amazing.
sand. Because why not? All right, so yes, you may all short rest indeed.
Woo!
Oh, it's a short rest. Okay.
This do be an hour rest is what was called for. If you want a longer rest, you may take that as well, but obviously it does take more time.
I mean, before we go on to our next plane, I'm gonna need a long rest. I do have a level of exhaustion.
Hmm.
And
Well, I think our plan was to try and rest once we got to the plane. But if we
Yeah,
want to
let's just do that.
take a rest here and then do that, we can.
I'm in
Let's
no
do that.
sort of emergency state. No, let's get to the plane first. Let's go.
Okay, cool.
He says, regretting it in the future.
I'll recast enhanceability then.
Thank you.
Boop.
Second attempt at guidance. Now that you're in this
Yes.
place, it will just work.
Yes, I
Excellent.
do it.
You managed to cast a cantrip. Woo!
Oh, God.
We're
Level
in
20,
game now,
baby.
boys.
Welcome to level 20.
Oh!
All right, let's attempt this DC 30 Arcana check.
Flash of genius.
Flash of genius. Let's go.
Hey,
Woo!
all right. By your powers combined, you do it.
God and anime.
Yes, by the powers of God and anime, you summon a gate to another plane. So I'll assume the ship has a space large enough for the gate to fit in. Well, I guess it can be 5 feet in diameter. It doesn't have to be 20 feet in diameter, but somewhere in that range of diameter. How big would you make it, Carrick? Just out of curiosity more than anything.
As big as I can.
All right. I imagine there's enough space for you to make it 20 feet. So let's just make it 20 feet. You summon this massive portal, which at first is empty and it shows nothing but darkness as the gate begins to connect to its destination. And this is only a brief moment before the gate forms at the destination and you are all almost immediately blinded by light streaming through. There is a almost pearly sheen to this portal as you stand back from it. I would say it's reflective, but it's not so much reflective as it is just there's more light coming out of it than there is light going into it from any angle, from any given angle. It's almost super reflective. It's reflecting back more light than makes any sense. While shining its own light. And, there's just beams of light being scattered around the room. All of the shadows in the room are almost immediately gone. There's just so much light bouncing around the room that everything looks just globally illuminated. Now there's no shadows left. And that'll last for a minute.
Holy shit, that's bright. You all ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Do it.
Let's go.
Let's run through.
All right. So as you guys step through the portal, ending your concentration on gate, I imagine pretty soon after you enter, but I guess that doesn't matter too much. Would you maintain the Magnificent Mansion, Clemens, or would you just drop it once you guys left?
I will drop.
Right. Cool. So you guys enter this portal, and are any of you still wounded? Are you all pretty much topped off, or any of you just a few hit points down even?
Wounded. A bit.
Oh,
Did
HP.
Clemens take damage in the blood?
I just sort of it didn't include Clemens to simplify it.
Understandable.
She potentially could have, but it's probably whatever. I imagine you were a little farther back shooting arrows at it or something anyways.
Probably. Considering she didn't take any damage in the last several major fights she was in, that seems...
Yep.
I am missing 1 HP.
1 HP. Okay. Well, that is something you notice immediately upon entering this place. You guys, every round, seem to just recover, on average, 3 hit points, just passively by being here. It's like you constantly have even better than a regenerate spell going on you at all times, just by being here. All of your slight cuts and bruises just immediately heal up, and all is well. That is the first thing you feel with your body. You have. And the reason you feel that with your body at first is because it is blinding and you cannot see for a minute. It takes you just a few seconds before your eyes are even slightly adjusted to your surroundings. You guys have entered into the plane of light itself. And it certainly is something. You look around you and you're in what appears to be the courtyard of a castle, but broken down in ruins. There's life all around you, but none sentient. There are vines and trees that have broken through the walls of this place, towers that have crumbled around you, and so on and so forth. One great, massive tree that just spreads out all over the place over top of you. That has to be hundreds of feet wide, hundreds of feet tall, seems to have done most of the damage to this structure, and provides just a little bit of shade that you're thankful for. Otherwise, it would be even harder to see in this place. What do you guys do?
Uh, I'm gonna put my dark vision glasses on. Does it help any with the light?
Oh god, no, it makes it worse.
Oh, I take them off immediately.
Yeah, no, it is extremely bright here. Your eyes are adjusting though.
Wow. Goodness. Wow. What does the compass say? This certainly isn't the worst place we've ever been, but goodness, it's bright.
Yeah, it really is. I try to take a look at the compass and see where it's pointing.
Seems to point away from the large tree in the castle to some other place.
Should we visit the castle first and see if we can get any advice about this place, or should we just head off?
I
We're
think
in
that
like
would be
some
a
kind
good
of
idea.
ruin right now, right?
That is right.
I mean, we still need to rest.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe we can just try and find a safe spot right here and try and get some sleep. I
All
think that
right.
might be our best bet at the moment before we get into any trouble. Never know what
I
we
do
could
have
run
an
into.
overwhelming urge to close my eyes and lie down, so
Fair
you know,
enough.
It's lovely
perhaps
here.
not.
Speaking
Yeah,
of lovely
let's.
here, you
Mhm.
guys hear now that you've adjusted a little bit and the blinding light has, not isn't overwhelming you as much, and you've also been here for a few seconds to hear things. You hear off in the distance just the gentle sound of the ocean, the sounds of seagulls flying around, things like that.
Hmm. Seagulls.
Mm,
Can I smell the sea?
you can. Now that you
Hmm.
think of it.
Sea. Can I climb to the top of the nearest tall structure and um look around to try to find where the sea?
Sure. So there, you're in the middle of a courtyard-like area. There's the tree casting shade over you above. So there's a number of walls nearby. Most of the towers of this place seem to have crumbled, and the walls have been broken open by roots of trees or eroded by nature, just in other ways as well. But you could attempt to climb a wall or something, get up to a higher location, get up to there are walls that are higher than the other walls. It's a castle. It's a bunch of different structures.
Uh, I guess if we're planning on resting soon, I'll just fly up.
Okay. So you cast fly and you float on up over the walls in order to see around you. And with a better perspective, you can see that outside the castle is a small garden-like area. There are many different bushes and hedges arranged in nice patterns. There are places where you could be seated and tables and so on. No people, but plenty of that. You see. Actually, give me a perception check just for finer details here. Right, you do see occasionally little things running around, squirrels running up trees and things like that. You can see the ocean as well nearby. However, I've described to you a bunch of details, but the big thing around you is it almost looks like you're in some kind of snow globe. There is like a glass bubble around everything, or something like glass, perhaps not actual physical glass. It almost looks like this place is a diorama of a castle on the sea. The castle itself is on somewhat of a cliff with the sea below, and you can see the beach down there, but there's not much water before it just reaches this strange, what looks like it should be transparent wall, but instead of sea on the other side, it just cuts off. However, the sea continues to lap in waves against the beach. Seagulls begin to fly around over the ocean and so on. There appears to be a nice little just habitat of creatures here, regardless of the small size of the structure around you.
Well, that's disconcerting.
Um, at the far side of the bubble is a pool of light, which is shining light, causing a lot of the light that is around you, actually. There's light coming from above. You imagine perhaps that's where the sun would be if this place even has a sun. But there's light just pouring out from what appears to be like a large, just circular pool of light on the opposite side from the castle, down past the garden.
So I'll go down below and I'll outline the bizarre sights that I've just seen. Say, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to need to get beyond the snow globe walls, as it were. Seems like that may be even more perilous than our last location, if that's what's called for. It's very eerie that I could not find any other sapient life. Little animals, but I didn't see any people. It's strange. You think a place as lovely as this, you'd at least have people from other planes traveling here to live here.
I'm very curious. Part of me wants to try and fly all the way up and touch it, but I think that's something better saved for tomorrow.
I think
agree.
you're right.
With this seeming a little more complicated than we maybe thought, I think resting might be the move.
Well, I'll stay guard first. As much as I feel the strange desire to go right to sleep and take the fattest nap any mortal has ever napped, I really don't think I need the rest as much as all of you, so I will watch.
So, Clemens is specifically taking watch, then, it sounds like? Is that correct? Are you not going to take watches, but just Clemens, or?
I'll
I
take
mean,
a
I'm willing to
shift.
take a
We
watch.
can swap in. Yeah, I don't want Clemens to get exhausted.
Yeah, might as well, right? Okay, cool. So Clemens will take
Yeah.
the first one then, probably. Who's up next?
Milos will go next.
All right, and the final watch.
I'll take it.
Yeah, Faye's in a deep sleep.
All right. So then Faye will wake up earliest and be at least awake. Not necessarily on watch unless you want to be for the last 2 hours of your 8-hour rest, but that is a possibility. All right. So, can I get perception checks from those of you on watch? Which I guess could be all four of you if you would be on watch first thing in the morning. That's up to you.
Yeah, why not? Me and my fat perception coming in hot.
All right. So, what you all notice after spending some time in this place is that it's strange that there's almost no darkness. None really at all. There are just shades of light. The shadows are really just bright places where the light around you has bounced off of them, but not as directly as the other places around you. Your eyes have eventually adjusted, perhaps due in part to the magic of this place, not only healing the pain of the searing light, but allowing you to behold it as well. It is, after all, not a place meant to be harsh. But still, a strange feeling not having a shadow beneath your feet, not having shadows inside the buildings or anything of that nature. There's just light all around you at all times. And besides the creatures running about, one of you sees, we'll say, who rolled the highest? Carrick rolled the highest. You see, at one point, a pair of deer run through the garden while you keep watch. disappearing behind a hedge, not to be seen again. But besides them, the seagulls, some squirrels, a few rabbits, and some other just critters, nothing really approaches you. Nothing seems to pop out at you. Nothing sneaks up on you. Nothing of that nature. And you all have a nice, restful sleep. Possibly, kind of strangely enough, despite the blinding light all around you, one of the most restful sleeps you've ever had. I mean, this place is literally rapidly healing you at all times, faster than most magic can. So, you all can complete a long rest.
Do 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 do.
Woo!
I get to remove 1 level of exhaustion on a long rest, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally a dummy for not realizing yesterday, but I could have just greater restored your exhaustion.
Well, that is an expensive component that we did not have to spend.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
don't think it ever affected me either, so it's fine.
We had to fight a mountain.
We didn't get eaten by the mountain. At
Not
least.
entirely.
No, we fought a fucking eldritch mouth. Scary as shit. I'm still thinking about that imagery.
Good. Welcome to Tier 4. Yeah, the other group is having some fun times with levels of exhaustion, let me tell you. They're in a place where
Happy to be here.
having a long rest not only doesn't heal you of levels of exhaustion, it actually has a chance to give you more levels of exhaustion. They're spiraling at the moment. It is good times.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah. Oh, it is rough.
At
Jesus
least they
Christ.
mostly have souls back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're having a beach episode, meanwhile.
Exactly. Well, speaking of beach episode, you guys have woken up from your extremely restful sleep in this peaceful place by the ocean. Like Clemens asked earlier, yes, you can smell the ocean, but that seems to be the like there doesn't seem to be any like sensory elements at all coming from around this place from outside the bubble. It's not like there's any other smells wafting on the wind from outside the bubble. You don't hear sounds from outside the bubble. It seems to be this strange, small, self-contained space.
How far away is the edge of?
This place I'd say is 2,000 feet radius. It's not incredibly large.
Gotcha. So should we just move in the direction the compass points until we get to the bubble and investigate for?
Sounds
like
good
it
to me.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Onward.
All right. So as you guys head towards the edge of the bubble, which is indeed where the compass is pointing, towards that great pool of light that Clement saw before. Let's see. Language check. What languages people know that are like special fancy magic languages?
Celestial?
Faye knows
Draconic.
Celestial. Milos, you know Celestial?
Yeah.
Faye and Milos are able to read a number of runes that are etched in light over the great pool of light that you see before you. They're almost hard to read just because they are, light etched into a like pseudo-reflective surface that is, just above a pool of even brighter light, but you're able to make them out anyways. And these runes read, "Behold, growth from the ruins."
I relay this to the rest of the party.
Growth from the ruins.
Where does it say this?
Etched in runes over the like large pool of light, which looks pretty similar to the portal you summoned before. Just a large kind of pearly, like milky pool that's just vertical in front of you.
Am
Uh,
I remembering right that this is on the opposite side of the glass from us, or is this like in the side of the glass?
The pool is on your side of the glass. It is within
Gotcha.
the glass, as are the runes.
What happens if I poke the pool with a stick?
The stick dips in and seems to pass beyond. If you expected a wall to be behind the pool, there does not appear to be one.
I'm going to stick my face in the pool. I may not survive. It was nice knowing you all.
What? Okay.
I stick my face in the pool.
Excellent. Roll me a death save. No, 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 no. Okay, yeah, so you stick your face through the pool. You stick your face through the pool, and it is blinding as you bring your face up to it. Even with your eyelids closed, there's just a massive amount of light that is still pushing through your flesh. But you bear it. You get your face through there, and you feel cold on your face on the other side. You open your eyes. You feel wind whipping across your face, dry, cold air. And you see significantly less light than you saw before. There's sort of this dreary fog all around you, and the light seems to be just gray fog that has diffused it in all directions. Strange. Quite a contrast from the place you're currently in. The ground beneath the pool appears to be snowy, as you can see it from here, but you can't see much beyond due to all the fog.
I'll slurp my head back through the portal. Well, it seems to be a foggy, icy wasteland full of biting, dry, cold wind out there. We may be in a little sort of vacation bubble where everything's lovely in here, but it's the only bit of loveliness on this plane.
Can I have you make a retroactive perception check? And also, did you
Yes.
stick your head in far enough to get your ears through, or just your face?
I probably would have stuck my ears through, yes.
Okay, so yeah, perception check, please. Okay, 19's pretty good. One other thing you did notice while you were through there, just to make sure I don't miss this, you smell smoke, and you hear just off in the distance somewhere the sound of very distant like folk music being played or something of that nature.
I also smelled smoke, and I heard some distant, folksy sort of music. So perhaps that is where the people are, which is, I suppose, raises the troubling question of why they would be out there rather than in here, unless it's sort of a thing like with those frog creatures where they're just accustomed to this place, and maybe they would hate it in this little bubble, but they love it out there. I don't know. I suppose the alternative is they cannot get in here from the outside, and you can only get out from this side. And there are a lot of different things it could be, I suppose. And I wonder what that has to do with the growth from the ruins thing that was written there.
It grows from the roots. It's just a tree, right?
But yes, but what does it mean?
It means that there's a
Why?
tree
But
in
why
the
why
ruin.
why write it on the door that leads out? You're not going to see it if you could come hypothetically from the other side into here. You would only see it if you had your back to the tree and were preparing to step out into the desolate icy wastes. If I'm understanding correctly.
I mean, it was kind of from your current angle. That is what it appears. Yes.
Gotcha.
Hmm. Well, we may as well follow this lead, huh? May as well just do it.
Does
I
the anchor
suppose so.
point out Carrick?
Does the what?
Does the anchor point out Carrick?
It is currently pointing towards the pool.
I would like to summon a fire elemental who can just kind of tower over us and provide us with some. Do I successfully summon?
Indeed. You summon a fire elemental.
He
stands
should be
there.
helpful out there.
He stands there a smoldering.
Menacingly.
Actually, fire elemental, please step out of the portal. Step through it, I should say. And then please, once you're completely out, please come back through. If you can.
Alright, the fire elemental turns and just wisps on through the portal. Wisps on back through to you.
Well, that's a good sign. Looks like we should be able to come back through if we need. Are there any other things that need to be done before we go?
Just in case, can I send Neko through and have Neko walk back through?
Yep, Neko walks on through. And walks on back. But there's just a tiny, tiny little bit of like condensation on all of the metal because cold fog on metal.
Or Kitty?
Quick
But it
question,
evaporates
Jordan.
quickly in this area. Yes, what's up?
So I just realized that I didn't pick an extra infusion this level. I'd like to know if a ring of protection stacks with a cloak of protection.
It do.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, you can't wear 2 rings or 2 cloaks, but you can wear the different ones. Yes.
The
Think I'll
actual
do that.
madness of not being able to wear 2.
You can wear as many rings as you want, as long as they're not named the same thing. This is the ring of luck. It does exactly what a ring of protection does, but it's a ring of luck. And this is
The ring of.
the ring of prosperity that brings me a +1 to all my saving throws, and etc. That's fine.
Eric would have some choice MTG jokes to.
I'm sure.
So then, do we set up?
Sounds like it, right? I didn't hear any other alternative plans.
I think so.
Taylor cut out for a second for me, but what are we doing? Do we set out?
Yes, Clemens would like to.
Technical difficulties aside, yes, sounds like setting out.
Yes. Cool. I'm also game for this.
All right. Cool.
Actually, before we set out real quick, I am just gathering like my magic items that I have that I can pass around, and it seems that I have well, no offense to everyone, I mean including me, we aren't the most tanky group. I mean, at least compared to Drost.
It's just hard to compare to.
True. Would any of you like an amulet of health?
Does it do?
It turns your constitution to 19.
Does it attune?
It does cost attunement.
Not me.
My constitution is already 18.
I kind of need my attunement slots. I've already got good constitution. But thank you.
Fair enough. And just to confirm, are you still using that Helm of Awareness?
I don't think I am attuned to it at the moment. Let me
Okay.
check. I am not attuned to it. Would you like it back?
Sure. So yeah, I have a helm of awareness and an amulet of health that people can possibly use.
I've got a spell storing item of enhanceability if anyone wants to have that prepared, just in case for when we walk through.
It is funny that
Let's
I'm
take
just now.
concentration though.
Carrick. Mr. DM, would you mind facilitating the movement of the helm of awareness?
You can just remove it from your sheet. I got it.
Okay.
Yes, that's an infusion, right? Is that why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. That works.
Now I need to think of what I want to attune to.
I mean, you do have the lowest constitution in the party currently, which is kind of funny to think
That's
about.
true.
Gonna put enhanceability in chat if anyone else is using it. Bob.
Bop. What kind of enhance are you taking?
I think each person can choose individually, right?
Yes.
But I'm gonna take Bear's Endurance because it's cold.
All right.
I
Just as a
will.
note, it does not enhance your saving throws, but it would enhance your checks. But there are no
Yeah, that's fine.
constitution. It is kind of weird that it gives you advantage on constitution checks when there really aren't any like straight
guess it-
constitution checks in the
Oh.
I guess it's
game.
like if you're like really trying to make sure you can concentrate on something is what you would do that for.
Yeah,
But
but that's the same
other
for
than
That's a
R2,
save
isn't it?
Those
as well.
times when the DM is like,
True.
everybody give me constitution checks for walking through the snow.
Which would also I
That
would also use
in-
a save.
Right.
If you're playing a drinking game, sure. Constitution check, I would call that instead of a saving throw, I guess. I think that might be why it also grants temporary hit points, which is pretty meager for the level, but lol.
Well,
There are no skills associated with Constitution, so it doesn't really get called as a check much.
in that case, I'll take Bull Strength.
Okay.
Of the 10 HP.
I'll take Owl's
Strength.
Wisdom.
Is everybody getting one of these?
It's in my spell storing item, so we've got 10 casts. It just takes concentration.
Gotcha.
Speaking of temporary hit points, I'm assuming Faye did the usual morning routine.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so that's a bunch
26.
right there. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Clemens is not going to enhance ability so that she can have elemental.
All right, that makes sense.
And you know what? Might as well. We all get protection from evil. Oh, if we're all each casting it. I think that's got concentration. Yeah, we can't concentrate on both.
Right.
I think I'm gonna unattune from the tablets right now for this morning, and then tune to my other magic items.
Alrighty. Any other preparatory spells before you guys jump through this portal?
Yeah, we're gonna do a let's see, who wants foresight besides Carrick? Clemens?
If you wouldn't mind.
All right. That's a twin foresight for you two.
All right. Last call. Going once. Going twice. All right. So finally, you all step through this portal and into the cold, fog beyond. It's not like it's uncomfortable, I'll say that, but it's not like, you're in any danger of frostbite from this cold or anything like that. It is just enough to make you shiver a little bit, but nothing really beyond that. Definitely not even, it seems, below freezing. Though there is snow on the ground and fog in the air, which seems like a strange combination given the temperature. And the light, like I said, all around you is sort of diffused into this mix. There's the crackling of a fire and somebody strumming away at a string instrument, somebody else playing something that sounds vaguely like a violin, but not quite, a little strange, a little different. You hear, voices being raised in song and just laughter and just an entertainment of some kind happening nearby. This seems to be happening from behind the portal now that you've stepped through it, and you can smell the smoke on the air and all of that. There's actually, now that you're here and looking around, just a very faint, like a bit of red amongst the fog around you, as if a fire is being reflected off of it.
This is considerably less pleasant than the other place. Shall we carefully march onward? In the direction the compass points?
The compass is now pointing back towards the portal from which you just came.
That's not ideal.
Can we walk behind the portal? Or
You walk a little to the side, you can see that the portal is paper thin, and there's nothing behind it. Or rather...
And if we walk...
Yep, go ahead.
If we walk around the portal, does the needle or whatever of the compass point continuously to the portal, or does it point to behind the portal?
Points to behind the portal. And now that the portal is not in your way, not in the way of what you're looking in this direction, that was the worst way I could have phrased that entire sentence. And now that you are looking on the other side of the portal, you can see in the distance what appears to be a flickering flame, a very large flame. Still very obscured by the fog, but you can tell that this is where all of that is coming from.
Oh, I wonder why it's
Okay.
spat us out in this particular direction. Well, I suppose we should go toward the flame then.
Strangely enough as well, once you're... The portal, you can see it from one side and it's paper thin, but once you get through the other side, it is completely transparent from the other side. It doesn't even exist from this angle.
How spooky.
Carrick, you've got a pretty high passive perception, right? I think Milos does too. 22, pretty good. Carrick?
22.
Yours is 21. So you're both pretty good passive perception. You notice as you exit that gate and look around, up above it are written those same runes that were on the other side. The behold growth amongst the ruins. But, of course, not written on the side from which the portal is invisible.
Both amongst the ruins.
What are you doing?
Wandering growth amongst the ruins at the moment.
You're not supposed to ponder it, you're supposed to behold.
My feet are getting
Behold,
quite
or
cold.
Where do we see the people?
You can hear the sounds of those instruments and voices coming from around where that fire is. You can see the distance.
Okay.
Shall we go towards the fire then?
Let's go towards the fire, yeah.
All right. So you guys walk off towards the fire, the snow crunching beneath your feet. It's a fairly dry snow. The fog around you begins to thin as you approach the fire, the heat of the fire having evaporated it off a little bit, pushing it outwards into, and you enter from the fog into what is almost a bubble formed from this great bonfire you see before you. This bonfire must be one of the largest any of you have ever seen. It is, like over a dozen feet wide. It is a massive, massive pile. And very hot, you can feel even from this distance. The blinding light coming from it that is just, that orange, red, flickery glow that is all around you. And you can see figures dancing around the fire, keeping their distance so not to get, too overheated by it. But there are people dancing and laughing or just seated by the fire having a drink. There are people playing instruments. You appear to have stumbled on a group of natives, perhaps, natives to this plane, or perhaps other travelers, but for why ever they're here, they're having a good time.
Do their instruments happen to look like fishing poles? Are they wearing Santa hats?
They do not, but roll me a perception check if you want to look at their instruments. 24 is pretty excellent. The strings of the few instruments you see here are, whereas many instruments perhaps have reflective strings, these are not reflective. They are made of light. These people are plucking away at pure bands of light with their fingers, or running a bow made of light across the strings of a violin made of light. That is why these things sounded a little strange. They sounded a little otherworldly compared to the instruments you've heard before.
Do they seem to react as we approach?
I don't think any of them have acknowledged you or seen you yet. You guys are in relative darkness compared to them at the moment.
We do have a fireman.
That's true, actually. I forgot about the fireman.
You're talking about Faye. Like, bro.
There's the fire elemental is just sort of wisping around out here. So yeah, that's enough of a beacon that they would see you. The fireman is standing there, and one of the people towards the outside of the fire, who is seated on a bench and just drinking from a large bottle. Everyone here, by the way, is dressed in somewhat warm clothing despite the heat of the flame. This person sort of lifts the bottle with one hand and like beckons with the other. Come on, get out of the cold. Come join us by the fire. Welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. We don't get many visitors around this part, but always thankful. Everyone, welcome. We have guests. And you just hear a cheer from around the fire. Hooray! Hooray! And the instruments pick up in volume a little bit. There's a very brief applause before people go back to dancing and singing and such again. Here, I'll scoot over on this bench. Take a seat. Have a drink. You hold out a non-labeled bottle to one of you.
I'm gonna
take it and swig it.
It's rum.
I'll take it after Clemens.
Rum, the sponsored beverage of this. All rum.
Of the variety.
Yes, every single variety.
Love it.
Yeah, we have to name the ship the Captain Morgan.
Perfect.
We could name it the Kraken.
Oh boy.
Oh, no, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Tastes better too.
You're right.
So what brings all of you here? We're just passing travelers, but well, you'd be quite a large party of travelers to be passing, if you take my meaning.
Oh, yeah. We're not travelers. We've been here forever.
Oh, forever. So you live here. Well,
Of course.
Where,
Where else?
what do you do for a living?
He just sort of he's still got he pulls up another he's had another bottle in his hand at this point. Like, he's handed you one, he just has another bottle now. He kind of gestures with both hands, like sloshing the bottle out over the snow as he does, just kind of vaguely at the fire and the people around. This is our life.
So you're just always around the fire and having a good time?
Where else would we be?
There's a place we just visited just now. It was a sort of green place with an ocean and a big bubble. We stepped out the door and saw your circle and came to see what all the lovely music was about.
You know,
I suppose.
I did not understand most of the words you just said, but they sounded really pleasant.
Well, yes, there's a place not
Very
far
fun.
from here. The people where I come from would generally prefer to be in that place, a short distance away. So it is with concern, trepidation, and admiration that I ask, have you stepped 5 feet from this fire ever? Have you seen the other places of your own home?
Why would I leave the fire? It's so nice here. It's so warm. We have constant song and dance. All you can drink. It's a lovely place.
That's a very fair question. If I were to invite you to my house for dinner, would you come?
I suppose you have another fire around here.
I point to the fireman. He's a fire, I suppose.
Interesting. Yeah. Sure. He scoots the bench over towards the fireman and sits next to the fireman and starts drinking.
Does your fire ever go out?
What is go out?
Do you ever have to put more fuel or wood on the fire, or does it just stay ablaze on its own?
Why wouldn't it? It's the fire. It doesn't do anything but burn.
Are there
It's
any
a good
others?
fire.
It is a very good fire.
You
It is
guys
a
have
good fire.
Great fire. I love what you
Thank
got going
you.
on here.
I
Everybody,
like that fire.
the
That's a
travelers
nice
love
fire.
our fire. There's cheers and applause, and the instruments pick up again, and then things settle back down.
Are there any people besides you here?
Well, very rarely we get travelers like yourself, but it's been a long time.
Are there any others who live here who don't live with the fire?
Don't. Where else would you live?
You know what?
I don't know.
When he
There's-
asks that, I'm just gonna kind of
Oh,
like
boy.
subtly nudge Clemens. Yeah.
There's
You see a
snow.
trend?
All right, I should just be enjoying myself.
Who else has a pretty good past perception? Is it just the two artificers, or we got Clemens has
Oh,
16?
mine's dog shit.
All right, I'm going to say the two artificers again during this conversation while Faye and Clemens have been sort of interacting with this man here who has scooted a little bit away from the fire, and you guys begin to observe your surroundings here. You do notice that every time you look around at these people, especially now that you're a little closer, out of the corner of your eye, they look different. They look like people when you look at them. They look like just humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, halflings, the whole kit and caboodle. Just all of the different fantasy races you would expect in Eberron are represented here, just scattered around this fire, enjoying themselves together, having this never-ending party. But out of the corner of your eye, you two artificers notice these people don't become like shadows or silhouettes against the flame. They become almost inverted shadows, like silhouettes of light, just these wispy, light-born figures, if that makes any sense. Also, my cat is invading. Hold on.
Italy.
Good.
There.
Oh.
Yes, so a little strange.
If I choose one, I'd look at them. That seems like kind of stationary, and then I look away, and then I look back. Are they still like? Do they still appear to be the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, as nice as this is, shouldn't we follow the compass? Or is
What
this
is
where
a
it leads?
compass?
It's a tool that shows travelers where interesting things are.
Ah, one
It's
of your
what led
traveler
us to
tools.
visit.
Of
Yes, it's
course.
what led us to travel in this direction.
Oh, you have a
So it
good
seems that it
compass.
did its job well.
It
Yeah.
led you here. Yes, that's very good. To the fire, of course. It must have been dreary out there without the fire. I can't imagine it.
It really was, yes.
Oh,
There
well,
are quite a many places without fires.
I'm glad you made your way to us then.
Well, usually the fire's in the sky. They don't seem to have one of those here. I guess it's good that they've got theirs, down here.
Fire
Hey, can
in
you
the
remind
sky.
me?
So, how. You say it must be dreary out there. How would you know if the fire's all there is?
Well, I just can't imagine a world without it, honestly.
Well, then, might things be just as lovely out there by virtue of the fire being here?
Well, why chance it? It's lovely here.
Yes, that's true.
Such a good point. That is such a good point.
You see,
Ah.
traveling is fun. So,
Oh, well, I
there's
guess
that.
that's fair. You are travelers. I apologize. I neglected to incorporate that thought. Well, we are all people of this fire here. This is what we do. And we find this plenty fun. And he raises the bottle to his lips and just chugs.
He does have a point.
He's truly spitting nothing but facts. Clemens, which way is it pointing right now? Show me.
I don't have the compass.
Oh yeah, which way is it?
Or do I have the compass?
It's pointing in the same direction it
I
was.
forget.
Which,
Is
if
that-
you were in a line from the portal to the fire, would now be through the fire.
If we stand up, we do a little bit of walking around, will it continue to point like through the fire, or is it going to always point toward the fire?
It is now pointing towards the fire.
Have you ever
Well,
touched the flame?
Oh, yes, every once in a while. It's been a while, though.
Um,
I myself am not fond of it. I prefer the fire here, but, well, some of us come and go.
Gotcha. And when people touch this flame, does it cause them any pain or burn them, or is it just?
Oh, of course not, no.
Oh,
The fire brings warmth and happiness and joy and hope. I'll be honest, I am not even certain of what you're asking. This pain?
I know what we must do. I do not know if I have the strength to do it.
But I do know that this thing does not bring that word, unless it means hope or warmth or joy.
I see. I'm gonna try and touch your flame if that's all right.
Well, that's fine with all
Right
of us,
forward.
of course.
We have consent.
I'm
He
going to
calls
try
out,
and-
everyone, the travelers are going to touch the fire! And cheers and applause again. Yeah, the whole deal.
Oh boy. Carrick is going to try.
Wait, I want to whisper to Carrick before he gets up.
Yeah.
Do you think the fire is what make them like light, wispy silhouettes, like touching it?
Maybe. I
How
was gonna
long does
try
it
and put
take to?
anchor in there?
How long does it take to use our other traveler tool?
I'm sorry. Which one?
The anchor. I was trying to be coy about it.
Ah,
I don't know
yes.
why.
I believe it was like instant, right? As soon as it like got put in that area, it like locked itself in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it should be all but instant.
All right, I suggest you do it. If there's any sign of trouble, I will make a wall of force around you to protect you. Don't know if that would do anything, but, it might.
I have no idea how Fire Marshal Bill over here is gonna react, so
Oh,
Excuse me,
no.
sir, what is your name?
I was just like naming a pig before you slaughter it. Come on.
Myself, I'm Joseph.
Oh, fuck.
What if
Fire
it was
Marshal
Bob?
Joseph. Oh god, no,
Bob again. The return of Bob.
I walk up to the fire with the anchor and I just try and place it in the fire.
All right, you reach your hand into the fire, and the fire is extremely hot all around you. It is very warm. It's almost uncomfortable to get too close to, of course, like a fire would be. But despite that, as you push your hand into the fire, this massive blazing fire, which almost seems too bright for the size, even for the massive size of it, you push your hand closer and closer, and the warmth grows intense, but then it kind of plateaus at a certain point. And instead of beginning to burn you or scald you or ignite your clothing, any of that, it's just very warm. And you feel like if you were left in this position for a while, it might almost be soothing. You get used to the heat a little bit and might relax your muscles, whatever. But it is pretty uncomfortable to start, but it's not painful. And you stick your hand in, and after a moment, the light is blinding enough that once your hand is deep enough in, you can no longer see it. And your hand feels colder.
What is happening? Faye, you alright?
Does the anchor seem to lock in?
It does not. You can feel it as you fit your hand through the portal. You can kind of feel it spin and then lock onto a new location in your hand, like it has adjusted its course again once it was through the fire.
Gotcha. And if I try and push further down, does like my arm begin to
Yep.
go into the fire?
Your arm begins to go in. Your arm returns to like a normal kind of pleasant room temperature around you instead of being in this uncomfortable heat.
Oh, yeah. No, this is just another portal. I'm gonna do what Clemens did and take a peek. And I'll stick my head through as well.
All right. You
He's going in the
down
fire.
and you stick your face into the fire. Roll a constitution. No, okay. You get down into the fire. You peek through. You can see. It's uncomfortable at first because there's smoke in your eyes and stuff too, right? It's not the most pleasant thing to stick your face into, even if you know in your head it's going to be fine. It is very hard to force your face into a fire. But you do so. You get your head through there. You have to close your eyes to get rid of the smoke. And then there's no more smell of smoke. You smell this damp, earthy smell. You hear chirping of birds. You smell flowers. And you open your eyes, and you're in this beautiful, well-manicured forest garden.
I stick my face back through again. I'm like, oh God. What to get through the smoke? It's beautiful in here. And I just like climb all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yes, our fire is a great source of joy.
You're just looking
oh,
like
yeah,
a
I
laser
know.
bot.
I suppose we are giving ourselves to the flames once again.
It was nice
Goodbye,
meeting you. Yes, and
Cold
good luck.
world.
Great fire,
Thank you
Joseph.
very much.
Great fire.
Just raises the
then-
bottle to salute.
I'm gonna take the bottle, swig from it, and hand it back, and then cannonball into the fire.
You take a swig from the bottle, you go to hand it back, and he's already pulling like another bottle up from hammer space from behind his bench.
Bottle. I keep the bottle. I'm going in with it.
All right. Everybody going in?
Yeah.
All right. So yes, you guys jump through from the from the fire and into the frying pan, I guess. I don't know, but now you're in a lovely garden. It is massive. It is not how to explain this. There's nature all around you, but it is not natural. if that makes sense. You are not in the wilderness. You are in an immaculately well-kept, well-trimmed, well-maintained garden that is massive. There are hedges all around you that are cut into shapes, cut into hedge walls. There are, well-trimmed grass beneath your feet. There are bunches of flowers in different gardens around you, but everything is still a forest. This is all between, like weaving between trees around you that form a canopy overhead that filters the endless light from above down below. Now dances in through the leaves above. So there's just endless beams of light from through the canopy. And this place is, of course, exceptionally well lit, but very pleasant to look at. Like I said, endless flowers, little pools and fountains, and it's quite a place.
Interesting. It seems we're sort of hunting for the next tunnel hole to the center of wherever we're trying to get to.
I suppose
Perhaps.
so.
It's hole hunters time.
Going hole hunting.
Oh,
He's looking around like, what I say?
Well, where is the compass pointing now?
The compass. Now that you're in here, strangely enough, it's pointing directly ahead, Carrick.
Shall we meander through this lovely garden on our way to the end?
I suppose so. It just says to go straight ahead.
All right.
Yes.
So there are lots of little paths between the gardens around here that again weave through the trees and such. These just, gentle, like very light sort of gravel paths that are kept with like bricks on either side to keep the shape of the path wherever you're going. And these paths intersect and they weave together and in and out and all over the place. So you pick the nearest path that takes you in the direction the compass is pointing. And you immediately notice, Carrick, that as you begin to take this path that is not at all a straight line, the compass is always pointing directly ahead of you, wherever you turn.
We may have a problem.
What sort of a problem?
I just start turning around in a circle, and I'm like, yeah, this is not working. Take a look at this. And he kind of just shows you as he's turning the compass, just basically always pointing forward.
Well, that's problematic.
Is it almost like it's just like a normal rock now, where it's there's no real gyroscope inside of it? It's just pointing one way, and it's just.
Curiously, no. It's because it kind of hovers over your hand by a little bit, and there's some inertia to it. So if you take a step and you turn 90 degrees, it'll rotate to catch up to you, and then kind of sway back and forth as it narrows in on the direction you're now pointing, and that kind of thing.
Perhaps this is one of those, journey over destination things, and we just have to enjoy ourselves for a while. It's pointing the direction we're going because where we're going is more important than where we're going, if you catch my meaning. I'm very drunk.
Just nodding passively. Yeah.
Nod sagely.
I imagine everyone starts nodding sagely as Clemens unveils this wisdom, and then the sage nodding just increases in volume as Clemens says, "I'm very drunk."
Pretty much. Carrick is just gonna say, "Let me just take a swig of rum, and I guess we'll keep walking."
That may be the key to this entire adventure.
You may be right. What's more peaceful than having a nice boozy walk?
All right. So you guys begin to walk through the forest, through with your feet, crunching on these gravel pathways as you go, kicking rocks occasionally as your feet skirt up and knock a few rocks along the path. There's birds constantly around you, chirping in the trees. There are nests from birds up above, and they fly around, and squirrels leap from tree to tree, and you see quite a lot of rabbits in this place, just bouncing around, and just enjoying this place as much as you are. And can I get perception checks from everybody?
Uh-oh.
Oh Lord, he coming.
I would say it hasn't been an hour since we went through the first portal, right?
Definitely not. This has all been pretty fast.
Oh, I have advantage anyways. I have advantage on everything. Enhanced ability doesn't do anything. I'm gonna use my spell storing item to cast protection from evil and good.
Okay.
And my enhance ability.
Fair enough. With a 21, Carrick, you notice the wildlife in this place is very similar to the people you saw in the last place. Now that you've noticed it, it's hard not to notice it in more things. You see a rabbit jump out of the corner of your eye, but you only notice it's a rabbit once you actually look at it. The thing that jumped in the corner of your eye was a little spark of light, a little wisp of a bright, luminous cloud moving through the edge of your vision. And once you catch actual sight of it, it looks just like a normal rabbit. There's nothing strange about it at all. But only when you're not looking at it, not directly trying to observe it, does it appear to be something else. Same thing with the birds, the squirrels, all of the living things in this place. Not the plants, but the animals.
The creatures on this plane are strange. Almost stranger than the ones on the plane of chaos. In a way.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
In a dangerous sort of way, would you say?
No, Mornay. Do they really exist sort of way? I mean, it seems like they're just light, but aren't we all just light, or
Are we?
we're built up of different atoms?
Oh shit.
Oh gosh, I'm having
Oh
an
shit, we're
existential
having
crisis
one.
right now.
I thought we were
Um,
made of meat or metal or wood sometimes, depending on whether you're, warforged or not, or have a prosthetic.
And that is how we got the name of the other group, Meat, Metal, and Magic. Yeah.
Metal and magic.
Sorry to interrupt.
That was worthwhile.
Okay, good.
It's perfect. So, are they perhaps the imaginations of people who are thinking, oh, I like rabbits. Rabbits would be lovely to have in a garden right now. And I've heard from gardeners that, that's the sort of person who doesn't actually have a garden. They're just sort of in somebody else's garden, because if you have a garden, the rabbits are probably eating your vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Clemens, make me either perception or investigation check, your choice. 20, all right. You say that if you had a lot of rabbits in your garden, they'd be eating all of your vegetables, and that wouldn't be very good. But then you look around and, well, there's just tons of plants here. None of them seem to be nibbled on at all. None of them seem to be consumed. But none of these rabbits look starving either.
How strange. It seems these rabbits aren't eating the garden. Perhaps they have the ability to conjure rum also, or whatever rabbits would drink for rum or eat for rum. They.
Perhaps they don't even need to eat. Perhaps they're just light.
Yes, but the people around the fire were certainly drinking, at least. I feel like I may remember seeing them eating, but now I'm not quite sure.
We should have asked him more
Wait a
questions.
minute.
I feel
What
like
was
the
the
answer would have just been the
ruins?
fire's pretty cool.
Probably.
What was the rhyme of the ruins again?
Behold. Tree? Ruined from ashes? Or whatever?
Hold the
Growth
growth.
from the ruins?
Yeah. That sounds right.
That's the one.
Why do you think this is connected to that?
Well, I'm thinking for hints if we're being befuddled.
I'm
If
content to just continue drinking rum and walking for now, until I have a hangover. Then I'll probably ask for some magical healing.
We do have a little bit of a time limit, though.
I'd like to fly upwards a bit and just see if I can see any landmarks.
Okay. Do you go above the canopy?
Yes.
All right.
About to fucking die.
This is where I would love to ask for a sanity check if we were running such a system.
Oh no.
But you fly up above the trees. You fly up above the canopy, and there's no resistance to it. It's just normal trees. Nothing strange there. But you poke your head up over the top, and you see infinite trees in all directions around you. An infinite horizon. There is no curve to this place. It is infinite flatness. You witness infinite trees here, and it kind of wigs you out a little bit, but nothing other than that.
I hold my breath, breathe out through my nose, and go back down.
Did you see the birds?
No. But we are in infinite trees. So, time to think of a different plan than just walking, unfortunately.
I see. That is quite a lot of trees.
Hmm.
What if we went straight up? What if we dug straight down? What if we made a little house in a tree?
How long would you say you guys have been walking at this point?
I think I would
That
have
is a
had the
good
idea to
question.
go up fairly quickly once we determined that the thing is not changing. We're not like following a path or anything.
All right.
Yeah, maybe like 15 minutes then.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not very
Yeah,
far
I'd
then.
say not a very long time.
Cool. Just checking. So what are you guys doing with this knowledge?
If we turn our
You turn our...
Yeah, it cut out again.
around, can we clearly see our footprint?
Can you clearly see your footprints? I don't
Yes.
know that anyone
Does
was...
it look...
That's fair. I don't know that anyone was specifically attempting to make footprints, but you can see... I'm going to say, yeah. It's hard to necessarily make out with incredible detail because these are pebbles and stuff that you're walking along. And while they're not super deep that you'd be making like deep footprints in them, you're occasionally kicking some rocks up and kind of making disturbances in the uniform pattern of the pebbles and such. So in an area that you have already walked over, you can clearly see, like, yes, I've stepped here and I can look down and I can see there's, pebbles have moved from there, but it's not exactly an easy substance to detect footprints on.
It doesn't seem like we've just been like walking in place for this entire time or anything.
Roll me an investigation check. And there's a lot of weird shit around you right now. There's fountains, there's hedges, there's birds' nests, and all sorts of strange plants. It's weird. It's almost like as you look around and try to absorb everything that's around you, you notice it's not just flowers. It's not just like a nice set of flowers that all are from the same location. It's almost like this place has plants from all over the world, Clemens, and you would recognize this especially, being such a traveler yourself, having taken an airship over most of the globe in these past couple of years. There's a wide variety of plants here, and none of them are even like planted next to each other in any sort of rhyme or reason.
You know, the more I look around, the odder all of this gardening seems to be. It's a little, I don't know, like somebody's trying to give the impression of a garden but doesn't have really any idea what they're doing. The more you pay attention to it, the stranger it is. Which makes me a little less comfortable with the idea of it just being, infinite. It's kind of a terrifying idea that just infinite plants were just sort of dropped here with no rhyme or reason.
Hmm.
And I reach down and pick just some flower.
All right, yeah, you reach down and you pick a flower. It begins growing back from where it was plucked.
Does it, like, regenerate in my hand also, or does it just, like, stay a plucked flower?
It stays a plucked flower, but it looks like over the course of the next several minutes, the flower will be regenerated.
If I, like, chew on one of the leaves, does it taste like a leaf?
They do be pretty leafy, though.
Homemade salad.
I have imbued true sight. Am I seeing anything different?
That's a good point. With your imbued true sight, I had completely forgotten about that. You actually would be seeing these creatures the same as your artificer friends would be. You can both see the rabbit and the smoky wisp thing, depending on how you focus on these things. It's not necessarily only on the edge of your vision. For you, you can see their form as well as their true form.
Perhaps we must capture one of these rabbits and make it reveal to us the secrets of this place.
Hmm.
We do have somebody who can speak with animals, I assume.
Not me.
I can't.
For some reason, that seemed
Looking
like
at
something I
Carrick.
thought I assumed Faye would be able to do. I'm not really sure why.
If you turn
Hey,
into an animal,
yeah, if you become a cat and you talk to other cats.
It's just
Such a
already
good
part
question.
cat, so,
Can you become a magical rabbit?
Can, can I communicate if I polymorph? Is that a thing?
No.
No, that does not track.
You can communicate as well as animals typically do.
Can
You're
you
not going to
turn a
be
rabbit
asking
into a
them.
person?
Yeah, asking something more complicated questions and answers would require more specific magic for enhancing the minds of beasts to do so.
I've got a dumber question.
All right.
Dominate monster specifies telepathic link.
Okay.
Can that include communication?
No, because there are other things that do that, and that is not that. I
That's
like the way you're
fair and does
thinking,
not
though.
make me waste an 8th level spell. That's great.
Yeah, you would be able to telepathically give them commands using such a link, or you could even have them, I don't know, whatever. You can take full control of them using your actions or whatever, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think communication specifically. If it said that you got communication, then yeah, but I don't think so.
Oh,
Oi, rabbit! I'd like to ask you some questions. I yell at a rabbit.
Rabbit scampers off under a hedge.
What a coy rabbit.
I can
poke-
move
It pokes its head back out from under the hedge and looks up at you, Clemens. And then darts beneath the hedge again.
Ooh,
I've
actually,
got
okay.
grass. Would you like grass, rabbit? I've also got rum. Would you like rum, rabbit?
It darts in and out from a different place under the hedge.
Should we follow the rabbit?
I'm gonna get
He seems
real
friendly.
low and just with them, like channeling every bit of my fucking charm and charisma. I just want to just do the sweetest, come here, just bring him over here, oh, don't I look so nice? Come get some pets. I'll give you some carrots. Got
That sounds like an animal handling check to me, which unfortunately is not
which is
charisma,
dog
but
shit. Which is garbage. Yeah, no, I'm getting nothing here.
you can try.
We can use the enhance ability thing to give you advantage.
No, I'm gonna prestidigitate a carrot.
Making flash of genius.
Also true.
And I
I will allow
persuade the rabbit with a carrot.
I will allow the prestidigitated carrot to give you advantage on this check.
Fucking tremendous. Can I have guidance, please?
I have guidance. It's just-
Guidance would cancel your enhance ability, though. Concentration.
Oh, that's fine. I just have strength.
Okie doke.
Oh, hachi. Fucking, that's
Flash of
brilliant.
genius.
You add, I don't know, carrot smell to the fake carrot. It's very, very juicy smelling carrot now. The rabbit.
Emotionally invested in this role. I want to know what happens.
I'll also say, anybody proficient in insight in this group?
No.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll just give this to you by being proficient because it's an
So is
animal and
Clemens.
it's not particularly perfect. So you both notice this. It's not particularly trying to hide anything. It's a pretty simple creature with a pretty simple mind. It doesn't appear afraid of you as it is darting in and out of this hedge. It appears playful. It appears like it's trying to get you to chase it and have fun in the garden. As you offer it this carrot, it'll dart back out from under the hedge and kind of just walk up to you casually now that you've offered it some food and kind of sniff at the carrot and then try to chomp into it and get nothing but air and look a little disappointed. A little confused, perhaps.
In that case, I'm kind of noticing based on the insight, I'm gonna get one more swig of rum in me, and I'm just gonna frolic with the rabbit. I'm just gonna prance around after it and chase it like I'm playing with drunk uncle is playing tag with the toddlers at 4th of July.
All right.
I'm just gonna get real weird.
Sounds good. The rabbit will immediately dart off through hedges and stuff and just have fun. Some other rabbits begin to join in. Birds begin to flit around you. Faye is a Disney princess at the moment.
Clemens will
This is
clap.
the image I want for you guys, yes. Except there's no music in the background. I'm just kind of stumbling.
Yeah, there's like the birds chirping and stuff in the background, but yeah, Faye is just stumbling around and there's just Disney princess stuff happening incidentally around her.
This is the way, guys. This is the way.
Can I take out a piece of metal from my backpack and magically tinker it so I get an image of Faye chasing this rabbit as a fairy or Disney princess to give to her later?
Perfection.
Magically tinker it with what?
I can make a static visual effect appear on one of the object's surfaces. This
Right, that thing.
picture
Yes,
up to 25 words of text.
absolutely, you can. Yes.
Hell yeah.
I like to think that you have like a really old timey like flash that happens when you use this magic, so that you can capture the the really loud sound. The one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. There's this flash of light from the magic, but you almost don't notice it because it's just super bright in this place, anyways.
Oh, it's overexposed. It'll
Fortunately,
have
it's
to do.
magic, so it'll be fine. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyone else doing anything peculiar at the moment?
Clemens just thinks she's tripping and is enjoying it. That was real good rum.
Are you guys following Faye as she frolics off into the distance?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to lose Faye, so
All right.
probably.
I'm going to say, because Faye is doing the frolicking, I will exempt Faye from this check. But can everyone else give me perception or investigation, your choice? Oh, 25 is pretty good. 25 is pretty good. Oh, 26, the one up. The one up. You guys notice it at almost the same time. Almost. Carrick just barely sooner. You have passed this fountain 3 times. You look behind you, there's a tree, and at the base of the tree, there's a few different flowers. You recognize that pattern of purple and yellow and green flowers there. You've passed that a few times too. 3 times? Must be. You look down, the path you're standing on has a lot more worn in places than any path you've seen so far.
It's just a circle.
Are we able to go off the path?
You are.
I'm not sure that
Off
would
the
make
path would be into like little fields of flowers and such, but you could. Little flower gardens or trees in the way.
So wait, Faye's frolicking was strictly frolicking on the path?
Not necessarily, no. Yeah, through hedges and stuff, over gardens of flowers, through little
I'm
patches
like
of
kind of
like
chasing the rabbits
through
in
little
my
patches of
frolicking.
green grass that occasionally have little like marble places, like marble seats or little, yeah, little like marble like fountains and stuff. There's lots of different kind of variety of landmarks here to look at.
Can I get in the fountain?
Sure. Yeah, it's nice, pleasant water. It's a little cool, but it's not like too frigid. Only about a foot or so deep.
Okay. I get out of the fountain.
Your feet are wet.
Dope.
Huge net heck vibes.
Eric, can you hold the anchor close to the fountain? I want to see if it thinks at it.
Sure. Does it point at the fountain, or is it just still doing the same, like, pointing straight ahead?
You move towards the fountain, and it points at the fountain.
We're gonna shove this anchor in
If
a
I move
rabbit.
away from the fountain, does it point away from the fountain?
It points away from the fountain.
Okay. It still seems to be doing the same thing.
And does nothing. Okay. I'd like to try something. I'm gonna leave an old shirt on the fountain. And then I'm gonna keep frolicking the way I have been.
All right.
And I'm gonna look out the next time we come to the fountain.
Would you like to frolic just generally where the rabbit leads? Are you trying to frolic in a specific
Yes.
direction? Okay.
I'm frolicking where the rabbit leads.
All right. Well, there's actually many rabbits now, and they're all sort of just. The frolicking is, you try to follow one rabbit, and then like you stumble upon another rabbit in a different direction, and the rabbits seem to be following you as much as you're following them. So the direction is a bit chaotic, but you go in a direction. And after a little bit, you come across a fountain with an old shirt on it.
Motherfucker. Okay.
Roll me an investigation check, anyone who wants to.
Yeah, someone else is going to. Oh, hot cheese.
29 is pretty damn good. Milos, I'll say you were trying to keep track this time. You're trying to figure out where you guys are headed. You're trying to keep track of every turn you've made, every step you've made here, trying to keep track of more landmarks than you did before now that you're somewhat aware of the situation here. And you feel like this frolicking happened, like, it was kind of all over the place, but it doesn't seem like it made a circle. It seems like you've continued roughly in one direction.
That's a problem.
Ah. All right. Well, now I want to just try to go the wrong way. I want to try to go where they aren't leading me without going like behind me, like in the literal opposite direction. I just can, but I want to like try going out into the flower fields.
All right. So you guys all want to head out into the flower fields?
Yeah.
Follow the yellow brick Fae.
Right. You guys depart from the paths onto the flower fields, heading a different direction than you were before. And the trees begin to clear in that direction. There are no more fountains, no more paths. In the distance, you can see a massive tree in the middle of a massive clearing.
That sounds like a potential
Yes.
central spot.
You guys start moving towards the massive tree in the middle of the clearing. All the various flowers in this field, random, none of them matching each other. This seemingly arbitrary, infinite plane of flowers ahead of you. But you can see a tree, you can see a destination, and so you head towards it. What you feel like after a little bit of walking forward, you're pretty sure you were headed towards the tree, and now the tree is a little off to the right. I mean, it's still ahead of you. It's maybe like 5 degrees off to the right. Not that big a deal. You can just correct your course a little bit. Strange that it moved. You guys keep headed towards the tree?
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You head towards the tree, and soon it continues to move as you walk, and you have to keep adjusting your course. Seems like you can see the edges of the clearing around you and stuff. You've got ways to keep track of your location. You assume this space seems to be weird in this place, but from your judgment, it appears that the tree is moving. You're not tilting off course or anything. And then you hear soon thud, thud. Very slow, loud, low thuds in the distance. In the direction of the tree.
That's a big
It's a big what?
Big fucking
A big
rabbit.
Rabbit. Yes.
Should we play low? That sounds intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get to that tree. I'm gonna kind of like bob and weave towards it, go serpentine.
You zoom in.
All right. As you guys get closer, then I will just remind as well, Faye, when you were up above the trees, you didn't see a clearing before, even in all of the infinite
No.
directions you saw. It was just flat tops of the canopy, uniform around you. A repeating pattern, now that you think about it. But now in this clearing, you see this massive tree, and as you get closer, is it really a tree? You see arms, legs, a head with the top of a tree sticking out of it. You see a humanoid form, massive, but made of bark and branches and leaves. The size of a tower, a building, a giant structure, just slowly walking through this clearing, occasionally Just as you get close enough to see its form, it kneels down to the ground and just places a hand out over the ground, and trees sprout up under its hand as it lifts it up into the air, and flowers sprout up all around that. And it looks at what it's done. It seems to be pleased at what it has created, and then it gets up, stands up, and continues walking with these loud thuds. And that is where we're going to pick up from next time.
Moo!
Woo! Woo!
Woo woo.
Woot woot.
Creepy tree.
Creepy
Love it.
tree.
That tree too fat.
It's not a tree. It's an ant.
Mmm.
Very cool. Thank you for session.
Thank you for
Thank
playing.
you. I
Thank
love
you for
these
the session.
weird
Thank you very
planes.
much.
I love weird
So
shit too, so
cool.
I'm glad to have the opportunity to run it.
Seems like a very fun arc for you. Yeah.
Yes, it is fun.